Widening my drag path for goose hunting. William Hovey Smith, 2015. I'm the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, and goose hunting is one of our regular activities.
This is Hovey Smith with Hovey's Outdoor Adventures. And to some of you, I'm at a familiar place. This is down by the pond where I goose hunt. And it's already several days late and I missed opening day. Well, you know, sad fact is, I ain't the guy at 73 that I was at 37. I started hunting here when I was about 14 years old. Exactly the same way. With a small boat, each year cutting out a path through the pondweed, over the top of the beaver dams, and finally getting out to open water. It is not terrible far. It is only about 40 yards from here to where I need to be. But getting those 40 yards and this boat and decoys and dogs sometimes all out there is a bit of a chore. Well, when I was a young guy, I was a little different. I was much more able and active. Yeah! I mean, I could walk around on the tops of cypress knees on 2 toes and cavort and carry on and swing and jump and leap and do all this kind of good stuff if I had to. Well, now why? Can't do that stuff anymore. So, whilst I am still able, I'm having to laboriously widen my path because it's been encroached over the years by the pondweed. Now this pondweed is evil stuff. It is woody. It has a long, tough, woody root. And that's the reason for this mattock here. I needed to cut it. I've been using an axe and I've been using a bush hook and they weren't good enough. Well, need to get in there and grub and pull. Yep. So we're going to be about doing that today. This is the second day of work I put on it. I got actually within about 15 yards of open water, but like Moses, I could see the promised land, but I couldn't get there. No! I've just exhausted myself. So, second day, I'm at it again, and so as I say, we have some extra tools. We're going to use this and the bush hook and the axe, and have to reach down in there and actually grab the roots and separate the plants into segments so we can physically pull them out. Some of these things we're pulling on weigh 50 to 80 pounds, and there are also horse flies around, and that's what's bothering dog, by the way. Yeah, I know. But get him, bite him, choke. And so we're going to be about that today. And as is possible, I'm going to show you a little bit of it. But with mud and stuff slinging, I don't know how much that's going to be.
Now this pull rope to the cypress tree enables me to get out along this part of my trail, which is as much mud as it is water and pondweed. You can see the duckweed floating on the surface. And there's some dark material over to the left. And that's where I've actually removed some of the obstacles that were binding the sides of my boat. The stealth boat that I'm in is very stable, but it is fairly wide. And so it binding on the sides prevents me from pulling it and maneuvering it. So that's the reason I've got to clear some of this material out of the sides so I can actually float it more than having to manhandle it, which I want to avoid as much as possible now and in the future. To this point, it was actually going pretty good. But you can see where I removed a clump of dark material right there. That's some of the pondweed and the roots. And otherwise, where I've got some pulled up on the surface. And now, the boat is being bound by this clump right here, which has some bushy stuff in it. So I'm going to have to work this little point out so I can make the turn and get some further up the channel. The mattock has turned out to be exactly the appropriate tool for this. You can see where I've chopped, and there is water now to separate it from the attachment to the shore. So we're going to be able to pull this out and then get it out of the channel. Here is a clump of woody mass that supported that point of vegetation. And this is about, more or less a foot. And I guarantee you, if you wanted something scary and unusual to throw on your front porch to keep trick-or-treaters away, you just put a bunch of this stuff out there, and I suspect you wouldn't have many people come up. They wouldn't know what this stuff was, but whatever it was, I don't think they'd want any part of it. Well, we are proceeding. Well, the boat is hardly fit for Admiralty inspection, but we are clearing some of our pond weed from the edges here. See here the bow of the boat. Yeah, it's getting pretty mucked up. Now you can imagine if the boat looks like this, what I look like. And now, looking above us, you see the channel, and you also see the little protrusion sticking out in it. And finally, just the wall of weeds before we get to open water. And that's what we got to cut through. Well, as you see as I pan up, there is open water there somewhere. But if you did not know it was there, you would be very hard put to find it indeed. But ultimately, you catch a little bit of the pond out there ahead of us. And see the other bank. Well, still got a ways to go. Well, we got our path done. And you can sort of see how the boat looks. Hardly ship-shape in Bristol fashion. And looking from this angle low down in the boat, you can hardly see it's a path at all. But at least it's cut out, and it's better than it were. So we're going to head back and call it good today. Because each time we come in and out, we'll beat it out a little more. But at least now we're out to the water, and the next good day, we can actually do some duck and goose hunting out here. Well, Hound Dog and I, we have got our boat in the water again. And so we finished this task for another year. So when we next come down, we'll bring decoys and actually set up a goose hunt. But for now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time. Besides backyard deer hunting, I have other outdoor books including extreme muzzleloading, crossbow hunting, practical bow fishing, as well as books on muzzleloading, e-books, shooting and maintaining your muzzleloader, and hunting with muzzleloading shotguns and smoothbore muskets. I also have a business series of books, the first of which are Ideas for New Businesses, and here's a little blurb about me in the book. This is one of those tasks that I really cannot ask anyone else to do. You can get more information about my nearly 450 videos, books, blogs, and other things at www.hoveysmith.com. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye, and God bless.